Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Pseudo. I apologize for the abrupt stop in the stream of the notes. My upload and download are trash here in this third world country known as New York State. Spectrum is an awful service provider, and hopefully you can get fiber and your internet's better than mine. But without further ado, I do have the footage on my computer from yesterday's stream, and I will let it just run. Or Friday's stream, rather. It is Sunday now. So hope you enjoy. It's mostly about Guardian changes, and they're all pretty sweet. So let's go look at it.
And I think that will wrap it up for Mesmer, which means we can get on to the end of the stream.
Nice.
Yeah, no one cares about the Guardian changes. Let's go. We're already running way over, so you know.
Oh yeah, we gotta run. We gotta
if
go.
we were, no, of course, we'll talk about Guardian. Let's do it.
Okay. We were kidding.
Mantra
Gotcha.
rework. I saw that coming.
Yeah, that's great. No, I can't believe I spoiled it. Yes, mantras are being reworked on Guardian. We've already gone through the whole spiel with it, really, mostly. Something that I think is pretty important to note here is
Mantra
that
rework.
previously we actually removed a stack on the elite skill there, Mantra Liberation for Guardian,
Auto
for
charge?
Firebrand. These are not actually mantra traits or skills, excuse me. We'll
That's
hold
great.
off on
They're
that for a
not.
second.
Wait, we already
Probably.
made that
Who knows? Yeah, we can keep making it because I, clearly just suck. But
joke. All right.
we removed one of the
I don't think
stacks
you
on the
suck, Roy.
elite
I think
skill
you're doing great.
for the elite mantra for Firebrand. And we felt that it was a little bit too powerful, a little bit too accessible. However, going back to the old version of mantras, we wanted to put one of those put the old version with all three stacks back. We felt that having basically one use of this skill before you would have to choose between either holding it to get that ammo back or put it on full cooldown was going to be a little bit too punishing. So it is going back to three stacks. However, we are going to, of course, keep an eye on that because it is a very strong effect. It is something that really sets Firebrand apart from a lot of other support options or just other classes
Buttons
in
to
general.
push is very
and so
good.
if that does seem like it is still an issue where it was previously, we may revisit and look at that again. But I think it's
Firebrand's the
probably
best
pretty
because it
important
has the
note,
most
just
buttons to
because
push.
going back to the old version, being at two stacks would probably feel pretty bad to play with, at least at the start. But
sure.
on top of course, the Mantra
Sounds like
rework,
we have some other changes to talk about first.
we've got some other
before
changes to
we
talk
get
about.
into the Firebrand stuff.
We've
There
got
is one other note. We'll leave it hanging for the kind of final charge aspect of the Firebrand mantras. We've had a little bit
Charge that
additional
note.
kind of a trait interaction, maybe. Maybe some people will. We touched up weighty terms a little bit to make it a little bit more exciting.
I thought we
But
were
we'll
going
get
to
to
wait.
that later. We'll get to that later.
Wait on those terms.
Okay. I
Talk
mean,
about the other Guardian changes, Roy. I know there's some in here that you're really excited about.
there are, but yes, we got
There's
some
actually some that I'm really excited about too.
PvE updates, Guardian main cal, for power DPS options in
I
for
made
Guardian,
every class.
and also some Firebrand adjustments for
I
PvP
made
specifically.
every class.
so-
Needs that on a shirt or
Yeah,
like tattooed
obviously
on his
here are
face.
mostly the PvE changes,
it.
again aimed at trying to
Heck yeah.
make DPS Guardians, power DPS Guardian builds feel a little bit better. We used to see a lot of them taken in PvE. We've mostly only seen conditioned Firebrand builds being taken currently, and so trying to bump up the power damage that Guardian can put out is a little bit of a goal here.
Power quickness,
Hopefully make
Firebrand's
these builds seem a
coming
little bit
back.
better to take in PvE. So right hand strength is no longer going to reduce the recharge of main hand sword skills.
Does it reduce
Then we
offhand
bumped
sword
up the
skills,
power
though?
coefficients of several of these skills. Strike, Vengeful Strike, Wrathful Strike, Symbol Resolution, Sword Wave, Symbol of Blades is also getting that, as well as reducing the recharge on Symbol of Blades from 10 to 8. That's going to be game-wide. Reducing the cooldown of Zealot's Defense from 15 to 12 seconds, and Raid Judgment buff as well. I think that's
Interesting.
pretty much all we need to talk about with that one.
Makes sense to me. Let's move on.
Yeah. Here are the probably most exciting changes here for Guardian, I would say. I'm very excited about them. Right at the top, Rolling Wrath is no longer going to reduce the user's speed, which is going to
God.
feel absolutely amazing. I mean, it does feel
Roy's
amazing.
been
I'm
playing
fine
with
with
this
that.
internally. He messages
Yeah.
me at least once a day. He's like, "Man, I love that we removed the movement speed penalty from Whirling Wrath."
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Great sword, pretty good weapon for Guardian. It's feels a little bit bad to be slow on the 2 skill, so now you won't be slow anymore. But then some hammer updates, which are very cool. We'll show that in game as well. And Cal, I believe you probably can talk about those.
Yeah. So the Zealot Embrace, adding some barrier to this. That's obviously going to just solidify hammer a little bit more as like a more bruisery type weapon. Give you a little bit more defense as you are crowd controlling, as you are banishing, maybe mighty blowing,
Look at it.
Obviously,
Look at
Zealot
it
Embrace
just
is going to be the one that's
spin
actually giving you
around
the
like
barrier.
a Beyblade of.
But then a pretty
better
cool
warriorness.
gloss over the cast time reduction to the final hit of the auto attack. It was very, very, very slow. Now it's just very slow, but it does drop the protection symbol. So we're keeping a close eye on that one. That's something that could easily be touched up again.
Good.
But kind of the most exciting change in my mind is the
hammer buffs.
Change that we made to banish. Thank you.
This is such a low quality.
This is now going to apply a mark to anyone that it hits, and that mark is going to say the next time you use Mighty Blow on this target, you will first teleport. To
what?
Roy, you should probably like spawn a moose.
What?
That's not gonna.
That's what people do with Judge's Intervention anyway. They precast Mighty Blow and Judges. That's like an OG.
So we, banish the Guardian, then we Mighty Blow, teleport in, and then do the animation and do the attack. So this is going to make it so that you no longer need a wall, because historically, if you're going to banish someone, you need to banish them into a wall so that you can Mighty Blow because they won't be out of range. Now, if you banish someone, it will just teleport before doing the attack. So regardless of where you banish them, you can now teleport to them and secure that Mighty Blow. Very fun, very powerful.
Very fun.
We are pretty excited to see how it plays.
Like it.
Because it does add just a bit more flexibility.
This is like an actual balance patch.
You're not going to have the problem of like hoarding in with Judges and then banishing and not being able to follow up. Yo. You're now just going to be able to always follow up your banish, assuming it hits. If it doesn't hit anyone, it's not going to apply that mark. And notably, it will only teleport to your marked target. If someone else applies a mark from banish, your banish will not work under that circumstance.
Roy, no.
Or your Mighty Blow, sorry.
Guardian clearly too strong.
Dude, it is.
Roy getting farmed on stream by the PvP lobby NPCs.
I don't think anyone saw that. We're just
wow. That's a good one. I am very happy with the
unscathed
stream.
contender reduction.
That's made my day.
It's kind of big for damage.
Beyond that, looks like we have a slight change to unscathed contender.
Dude, I'm
and
excited
this is just trying to normalize the damage a little bit. Obviously, it currently gives 20% if you have Aegis. Having Aegis all the time, not realistic in most gameplay scenarios.
But it's really good.
And honestly, pushes the damage capabilities a little bit too high in those cases where you have Aegis. So just normalizing a little bit. Aegis component's going to be 7%, and then you're going to have that Scholar Rune type effect where over 90% health, you will have 7% increased strike damage.
Ooh, this is Guardian doesn't really have barrier. That's kind of
moving on from core Guardian updates, we've got some pretty fun Dragon Hunter and Willbender changes. And so we can
Hammer Guardian gonna be a
Test
thing.
of Faith in just PvP is going to have increased protection duration from 2 to 4 seconds. Already a very strong ability in World vs. World, so we wanted to make sure we weren't buffing it there, but it is going to get a little bit of an increase there for PvP. Light's Judgment will also now daze enemies in addition to its other effect on the first strike, as well as having a lower cooldown from 20 to 30 seconds. Similarly, we lowered the cooldowns on Wings of Resolve and Shield of Courage. These are all baseline changes throughout the game. Fragments of Faith is just going to have a lower cooldown, pretty similar to other changes we've made on other classes, other various skills.
That's really
with the cooldowns going lower, as well as the duration, specifically on the stability
auto-trigger versions of it
in turn for
is
that.
Very good if that still exists.
A pretty fun note here is that Hunter's Determination is now going to cause all Guardian elite skills to break stuns on activation. So that is obviously going to be pretty strong with a couple of the Guardian skills. Renewed Focus, of course, comes to mind. And of course, since it is going to be a Dragon Hunter trait, Dragon's Maw, you've got the Shout Elite you can use if you want. But it isn't going to be something that you can use, well, wouldn't really make sense with Mantra Liberation, obviously, as a Firebrand. Or already as a Stun Break, that's on Firebrand. And of course, Heaven's Palm on Willbender. So it's just obviously going to be the Dragon Hunter skills.
These are like
core Guardian skills.
really quality.
Definitely really.
For any, Mistfire Wolf enjoyers. Your Mistfire Wolf will not now be a stun break with Hunter's Determination. But this is kind of trying to solidify the more like defensive aspects of Dragon Hunter. We see this with like the virtue cooldowns coming down and Hunter's Determination with this new powerful effect. Really trying to give Dragon Hunter a bit more defense.
Yeah. And of course it's something that we're going to keep an eye on in case it somehow gets, blows out of proportion, becomes a little bit too strong. But we felt that it was, in a pretty competitive slot in terms of where it is on the trait line, and it just isn't really being used after the 300 trait cooldown rework that we did previously to its current iteration.
Rework is a
then we've got
that's a word for that.
ICD reduction there on heavy light from 10 to 1 seconds. And then for Willbender, which is going to be a pretty nice change here for Willbender, is that the virtues no longer remove other active effects of Willbender virtues. So currently, if you F2 and then F1, you will be only having the F1 virtue effect. It'll remove your F2. But if you F2 and F1 after this change, you'll have both of them for that duration. So this should allow Willbender to use its various virtues, feel a lot better when it's playing with them, not feel bad about having to overwrite one for that duration.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely a buff, but it's also just kind of a huge quality of life improvement for the elite spec.
This is crazy. All the blue
in
things.
In PvE, for example, when you want to playing a lack Willbender, you really want to have resolve giving alacrity, but you also want to have justice giving damage. And so navigating the exact timing for all of your skills was, it's fine. It's gameplay, but we want it to be a little more flexible, a bit more.
Dude, RSQ is going to love this for
opportunities to use your skills in the way that you would use them, as opposed to them kind of conflicting with each other.
God.
This is obviously also very important on the competitive side, where it's much more likely that you are going to pop a resolve and then need to pop either justice or courage more rapidly. Not going to have that full duration to get that healing, and no longer will you be reducing your sustained potential just because you are, trying to play the game and using your skills.
Absolutely. And then the final note here, just nod to World versus World, Hunter's Ward, reducing.
So like really quick, I don't even like the Bladesworn thing. Getting a ranged weapon is huge. Like basically, it's what people wanted with pistol main hand, kind of. But in the face of all these other changes, like the Guardian buffs and like some of the Necro stuff, although people, I don't know how they feel on it, probably won't feel it's enough. Like that's not even that much. These Guardian changes are nuts.
The power coefficient on that final impact
anyway,
by a little bit. Definitely just seemed to be doing a little bit too much damage, especially as a ranged ability there on Dragon Hunter, which is, a fairly common class that you'll see. Alongside, of course, these other Dragon Hunter buffs, we wanted to make sure that we were adjusting that damage that it's doing a little bit in a lot of these like large-scale fights that you'll see in World versus World.
The blue
so that will be coming down in World versus World a little bit.
Ugh.
And then we've got these Firebrand changes again. Obviously, just going
hop into a PvE map actually,
and
we'll talk about this
when we flip. There it is. Only in PvE. Hell yeah!
Because you can show off the cool stuff.
Hell yeah! People get their animations back.
Anyway, so the weighty terms change that I alluded to previously, back to trigger on final charge, because now we have final charge matters again. But also, it is now going to grant a page. And the idea here was that we didn't necessarily want to put it back to immobilized, because that's such a... I mean, it's a powerful effect that's kind of worthy of the final charge component of weighty terms, but at the same time, with the new Firebrand functionality, with the kind of initiative style system that we see with how tomes work now, having more avenues to introduce page generation is potentially a very interesting avenue to go down. So now weighty terms is going to give you a page back when you use that final charge. Another nice incentive to actually use that final charge in addition to the more powerful final effect. So Roy is currently in PvE, and you can see him slotting a mantra, and it immediately flips over. Very cool.
Very cool.
You don't have to worry about that any longer.
Heck
Obviously, if you're in combat, this isn't going to happen. It's only going to be when this skill is not on cooldown, and when you are out of combat, it will determine that it should probably change itself over to its active version.
I wonder. I could just see the bugs now. Someone on Snowcross is going to find a way to do a bajillion damage with this. But I'm excited.
Here.
Get a little extra page back. Yeah, very cool.
Weighty terms isn't a grandmaster. I forgot that.
It's neat for sure. I'd say so.
Oh, that's so good. Firebrands are going to be war.
We've talked about Firebrand mantras like 8 times already. I think we can probably move on from them.
War again,
so here it is, our final slide.
Yeah. So I guess we definitely want to buff Firebrand in PvP, and this is kind of the one game mode where the new version hasn't really found its footing yet.
Yeah.
And the mantra change is actually a big part of this, because all the Firebrand mantras are essentially balanced around that final charge. We see, the heal mantra much weaker on the initial charges. The cleanse mantra much weaker on the initial charges. And these are like key components of support Firebrand historically in PvP. So part of the mantra, or with the mantra rework, that is going to help a little bit. But we also want to make some additional adjustments for Firebrand specifically in PvP to try to bring it up to that viable support level.
Yeah. First up, though, a couple of, kind of quality of life changes for Firebrand in general, just throughout the game, is that when you exit a Firebrand tome, it'll put that on a very quick half-second cooldown. We saw, and, we heard from a lot of players that they would go into a tome, use some skills, leave the tome, but accidentally hit it twice, and just immediately go back in.
Oh, perfect.
So similar to, some other interactions, similar to that, like kind of like a Necro Shroud type deal that we have in other parts of the game. Now you will have a small ICD on that tome when you exit, so you're not just double tapping it and going back in. We've also now changed it so that Firebrand pages will be filled up upon respawning. So previously, a lot of times in PvP, you might be in a fight or something, and of course this is going to be a bit of a usability improvement specifically aimed at PvP for Firebrand alongside these other changes, but you might be in a fight, you die, you've used all your pages, you respawn 15 seconds later, and you don't have all your pages back, and that felt pretty bad. But just throughout the rest of the game as well, anytime you respawn, your Firebrand pages will be back up.
Yeah, and this is just basically, we've talked a million times about Firebrand now being kind of using an initiative-based system, and this, the example of the initiative system is the, and so having that similar behavior of being back to full pages on respawn is kind of the thought process there, just kind of normalizing that mechanic.
Yeah.
In addition to just being, feels great.
Absolutely. Running through the PvP changes real quick. Again, already a pretty good spec in World versus World and PvE, so just a couple of buffs here for PvP. So we're lowering the page costs on a couple of these abilities. The weakness duration is going to go up on Chapter 2 for F1 from 2 to 3 seconds. Heated Rebuke is going to have a page reduction from 2 to 1. The cooldown on Radiant Recovery for PvP, that's the 2 on the Tome 2 skill, is going to be going down from 8 to 6 seconds. Similarly, the 4th skill in Tome 2 is going to have a healing increase on its pulse, the base pulse heal, as well as the attribute scaling increase in there. Eternal Oasis, the 5th skill there on Tome 2, is going to have its page cost lowered from 3 to 2. Just keeping that in PvP for now. It already seems like a very, very good ability in World versus World. Pretty situational, but you're still getting a ton of value from it even at that 3 page cost. But in PvP, it's a little bit harder to to get the use out of it at 3 pages, so it's going to go down to 2. And then finally, Unbroken Lines, that's the 5th ability in Tome 3, is going to have its stability increase from 1 to 2. Again, just PvP. We didn't feel was necessary for World versus World, where you already have a ton of stability access, a ton of stability coming in from various sources, from the Firebrand itself, from other sources. But PvP, having that extra stability stack is going to feel a lot better.
This is nuts.
There you go.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Dragon Hunters are going to be.
I believe that might in fact be it.
We're out of changes.
In record time. We are out of changes for now, of course. We will have some more in the future.
Obviously, the point of this, doing the preview, as always, is the notes are going to be going live pretty shortly after this. Take a look, hop on the forums, read everything again, post some feedback. And the idea is that, if something's missed the mark or something's need additional looks ahead of the actual update, that is the overall goal of doing these previews, is to get that feedback. And so, like we said, we're out of changes for now, but maybe there will be a couple other things that come in between now and the update itself on Valentine's Day.
Indeed. But yes, thank you very much for tuning in and watching. And sticking with us throughout. Once again, I'll just reiterate: make sure you give us your feedback. We will be reading the forums. We'll be paying attention to various other sources of feedback. So definitely make sure you go out and you give it to us. I'll probably spend the whole weekend reading feedback. Actually,
you probably will.
I don't.
Roy always reads the feedback. And
have anything else to do.
A summary.
So yeah, definitely I appreciate the feedback there. But yes, make sure you go read the forum post in case there's anything you want to read over. It will be posted directly after the stream ends. But yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. As always, I've been Roy Marks. This person over there has been Cal CMC Cohen. Cal?
Yep. Thanks everyone for watching. These are always a lot of fun. So thanks for, again, kind of bearing with us with the at-home version. Big shout out to Roy for running the stream again. And
yeah, maybe
obviously a couple of mishaps with the PowerPoint, but
good job.
We'll find out who did that.
Happens when Roy does the PowerPoint.
We'll find out who did that. No idea who did that, but
we'll
make sure to
track that down. Yeah. Obviously, we'll continue to do this in the future because they're a lot of fun, and I mean, hopefully, everyone likes to just listen to us ramble about balance for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So that's
really stretch this one out.
So yeah, please go to the forums, post all your feedback. We'll be reading it. We'll see you around. See you
All
in the
right.
mist.
And Cal, will you be my Valentine?
No.
Aw. Alright, well that is it for the stream. Wow, this feels like the first balance patch, like real balance patch we're getting in forever. Holy cats, man, I am so excited. Alright, future pseudo / current pseudo here. I'm gonna cut off my commentary for the rest of this while this just times out here. But man, yeah, kind of stand by what I said with that. Holy cats, this does feel like the first balance patch, the real balance patch anyway, that we're getting in literally forever. I'm excited. I am really, really, really excited for this. So I cannot wait to see what they do. I cannot wait to see how it all shakes out. My initial thoughts, like, I can't believe it. We're getting consistent balance patches, cadence of 2 so far, but hey, it's great. Oh, hey dude, what's up, Dario? Yeah, I was just restreaming this because the Guardian thing got cut off the other day, but I'm super excited. Go watch part 1 if you want. Check it out. Leave me any comments with your thoughts, what you're expecting. Guardian buffs out the butt, huh? Wow. I've been looking at Reddit a little bit, people's initial feedback. People still think Necromancer's kind of gonna be rough, but hey, they're trying. I still think Bladesworn's kind of gonna be rough, mostly because it's still buggy, but giving it a ranged weapon is kind of big. Oop, there goes the stream, so I'll put on some music while I just time out my thing in the background here. I'm excited. I cannot wait till Valentine's Day. Go post your feedback on the forums. Let me know if you have any questions or any builds you want to see. I have a bunch of Bladesworn ideas for what to do with this, but we'll have to see how things play. We're going to be doing Harvest Temple, finishing up Old Lion's Court. We need to get it. We did complete it for one of our members, but we need to get it for the other one tonight. That will be streamed on the channel in about 5 hours, as well as Harvest Temple, probably our first attempt / first real attempt coming up for that, which I'm super excited about as well. But yeah, I am Pseudo. This is Tyria Tribune. Check it out. Check out the Gleam giveaway that we're doing now. It's real simple to enter. All you have to do is leave a comment or follow on Twitter, or subscribe to the channel. It automatically gets you entered for all of them. It's always in the video description. It will be in the description of this one as well, once it finishes streaming. I'm super excited about this. Dario, do you have anything you want to add since you're here? A couple people have been jumping in and out of the comments section as well. I'm very excited about this. I cannot wait to see how this all shakes out. And I'm excited about the future because they seem to be past their we're going to nerf everything because things are ridiculous phase into our, you know, let's have some fun. Let's add some stun breaks back to Guardian. Let's add some playability back to Berserker. Very, very exciting to see. Very exciting to see that mentality overall coming back into the game. Hopefully people can get excited about PvP changes and whatnot. So instead of, you know, stuff that they just nerf, which is kind of hard to see the benefit of a lot of the time. But yeah, thanks for your time. Subscribe if you want. Check out the do it through the Gleam giveaway if you want to enter for 100 gold. Gonna start doing regular giveaways every week, so just in-game items I have for now. Maybe it'll be gems in the future. If you want to see something, let me know on the channel. Let me know your favorite class. If we get a bunch of interest in one, I'll make a video about it. But I am Pseudo. This is Tyria Tribune. Have a wonderful night, day, evening, whatever it is. Stay safe, stay warm, have fun, and I will see you in Tyria. Cheers!